This video is brought to you by the Farmer Klein YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. This video is brought to you by E-Man Hoover. Thank you for being a farm baron. Hello everybody and welcome back to another map first impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at Niedersachsen, or Lower Saxony. This map can be found over the farmingsimulator.com website, and since this is a 4X map, this map is for PC only. Now, this map has a large list of required mods, so be sure when you download the map to also download all of those required mods, and you should be set. Now, let me read you the description because this is a very, very big map in not just the fact that it's 4X, but in what it offers. The description says, on this fictional map, which is based on Lower Saxony, there is a lot to see and also numerous details to marvel at. This is a 4X map with 16.7 square kilometers of map area. The map has a nicely furnished starting courtyard for the single player, and in multiplayer there are over 16 open farm areas where you can let off your steam online. Features: 16 potential starting areas. Technically over 16 potential starting areas. These are only visible on the PDA as gray areas, and in the game they are basically just grass meadows until you buy them and basically start your building. In addition, there are 8 biogas plants on the map, 31 forested areas, 180 fields that can be bought. This map is MaizePlus ready, including horse extensions, alfalfa, clover, horse grass, field grass, meadow grass, miscanthus, triticale, rye, spelt, onions, and carrots are additional crops. Grass, alfalfa, clover have 4 drying levels, which requires at least 3 times passing on the tedder, with and without seasons. So that is very important to note. If you play this map with seasons or without seasons, you will have to ted grass, alfalfa, and clover multiple times before it will convert to hay. Start yard with enough vehicles available. This map is seasons ready. It does indeed have a seasons mask. This map is manure system ready. This map is also MaizePlus ready with horse extension, CCM extension, and forage extension. This map is precision farming ready in the fact that it does have a custom soil map, and we will take a look at that like we typically do. Dump piles have been increased to 128. Honestly, I don't know what that means other than maybe that there can be up to 128 unique heaps on the map. Also, we'll see when we load the map up that the animal husbandry level has been increased from the default level of 10 to 64. So let's talk about the required mods. So the mod author has listed the composite machine sheds by Vertex Design as a required mod, as well as the concrete bunker set U by Castor. Seasons is listed as a required mod, but quite frankly, if you can play this map without seasons, so I don't really consider that a required mod. The field barn is also listed as a required mod. The machine shed, there's a machine shed that is listed as a required mod. Grain silo, the straw harvest add-on is listed as a required mod, but again, you could exclude that, I think, and not have a problem. MaizePlus CCM, MaizePlus are also listed as required mods, as well as MaizePlus Forge extension. If you don't want to play with MaizePlus, you don't have to, but there will be things that will change with this map if you don't use MaizePlus. So don't think by not adding MaizePlus, you're going to get default base game. That is not going to be the case. Machinery shed mod, manure system mod is listed as a required mod. Farmhouse pack, wood garage, and a precision farming add-on are all listed as required mods. So in total, there are 16 mods that you need in addition and including the map. Now let's go ahead and move on over to our mod selection screen, and we'll go ahead and start selecting those mods up and load on into the map. We will use the mods that we typically take a look at when we look at these maps. as well as the required mods that were listed. So we have the machine shed, the composite machine shed. We have the concrete bunker set U. We have the farmhouse pack, the field barn. We have the grain silo, the machine shed, the machinery shed. And then we'll go ahead and activate the myriad of MaizePlus manure system, precision farming add-on, precision farming, and the wood garage. We're just going to leave seasons off because I typically do not activate seasons with these map tours. So let's go ahead and load on in. Pull up the log. Now this may take a little bit of time to load up. This took my system a fair bit of time the first time to load in because it is loading in a ton of placeables, a ton of other things. I mean, the map has 8 biogas plants. So it's loading all of them in. It's loading all of the sell points. And this map has a massive amount of sell points. Here you can see it says new animal husbandry limit 64. Now there is a field type mover script in here. I don't know what that is. Well, I know what field type mover is, but I don't know what is calling that script. So something in here is like a production script. So it might be converting to silage. It might be doing something else. Like I said, now we're loading in all of those placeables that are on all of the maps. And there we go. So here we are. We are in new farmer mode. I will say that if you activate this map up in Farm Manager or start from scratch, even with all of the required mods activated, everything you see here is not here, with the exception of this fence. So this fence stays, but everything else, as far as these buildings go, are not here at the start. Also, in Farm Manager or start from scratch, you have no starting equipment. So that is also something important to know. Let's go ahead and take a look at the PDA. We'll zoom on out. Remember, this is a 4X map, so these fields are a lot bigger than they initially appear. So as I said in the description, we have all of the standard crops available to us on Farm Sim 19, as well as rye, triticale, spelt, alfalfa, clover, field grass, horse grass, pasture grass, carrots, onions, and miscanthus. Now, let's take a close look at the PDA. If we take a look at the lands area, we start out by owning the starting farm here. And this is the only farm that has any buildings associated with it at the start. So we have the starting farm here. We have field 83, which is 10.77 acres. We have field 121 or 122, 5 acres, and field 14 at 5.6 acres in size. Now, let's take a look at some of these other farms. We'll start here at the bottom. We have one area marked here as farm. That's 9.5 acres, $56,000. Got a farm over here at 113, 7.6 acres at 44, basically $45,000. We have several possible areas over here. We've got one at 2 acres, 1.84, 3.91 acres in size. And again, all of these are just barren meadows. So they're just grass at this point. You could mow them. You don't have to make them into a farm. But imagine this map on a multiplayer. All of these areas are already flat. They're already prepared for you to build out a farm. Got another one here, 1.5 acres, 5.59 acres. Now, this area isn't marked, but it is kind of set up as a flat concrete area. We'll try to take a look at that when we go around. Here by field 108, we have an 8.8 acre area. Got another farm up here, 3.9 acres. Farm over here by field 123, 6.3 acres. Field by 122, 5 acres. Field over here by the shop, 3.84 acres. Got a small field, 1.5, or small area, 1.5 for a farm, 4.35 acres. By field 30, 4.5. By field 8, 3.32 acres in size, 7.28 acres in size. And that might just about be all of the possible farm areas on this map. As far as field prices go, we've got little fields like 15, which is 3 acres in size, $64,000. And then we have fields as large as 59, which is 55 acres in size, $1 million. So, not really a huge field price. 55 acres, $1.1 million. I mean, they could be a lot more expensive, but since there are so many fields, this is a 4X map. Lots of these field sizes are not super huge. Not saying that 55 acres is small, but it's not super huge. Let's go ahead and take a look here at our custom soil map. So overall, the map is predominantly sandy loam, a little bit of loamy sand. Loam scattered around. There are some decent fields that are exclusively loam, which is nice to see. And a pretty small amount of silty clay, which is probably going to be ideal. It's a rather interesting mix and arrangement of that. I would have personally thought that along the river, we would have seen more silty clay on both sides, as opposed to predominantly being here on the eastern side of the map. But hey, it is an interesting custom soil map. Now, if we take a look here at the prices screen, there are a boatload of sell points. I'm not even going to bother trying to count these sell points. Something else to note on new farmer mode, we do start with a fair bit of crop in our silo. So it is MaizePlus that is putting the tags under each fill type. But if we just scroll through here, you can see that we have a boatload of sell points here on this map. Now, just a little bit of point of interest. I'm recording this segment after I've recorded the entire video. Turns out, apparently, I didn't start recording when I paused the video to uncover the soil map. So later on in the video, we buy all the farmlands, which means we buy all the biogas plants. And that's why we're seeing the biogas plants here. Okay, so this part of the video is being recorded out of order. So I just want to let you know that. That's why you're seeing some discrepancies here in possibly what you see in your prices screen and what we're showing here. So if we scroll on over, you're going to see that we do have some specialty sell points for our eggs and milk, as well as our cotton. And you can see here all of the biogas plants. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11. 11 biogas plants. The description says 8. I count 11. So we have 11 biogas plants on this map that are going to take potatoes, sugar beets, silage, grass, hay, straw, manure, slurry, alfalfa silage, clover silage, carrots, as well as horse silage, silage maize, and grass silage, and fresh maize. So that is a ton of fill types for all 11 of those biogas plants. That is just insane. We do have a decent list here of starting equipment. All of it is owned. None of it is leased. All of it is well maintained. Very little operating hours. We do not have any animals on this map. So again, this segment is being recorded out of order. So we have no animals on this map. This portion is being recorded out of order. There are contracts available on the map. Again, we went and purchased all of the farmlands later on in the video. Since this is being recorded out of order, we're not seeing contracts available, but there are indeed contracts available on the map. We take a look at our starting equipment. We start out with the Fendt Favorite 515C and the Puma 240 CVX. So our tractors range in horsepower from 150 to 270. We have the RSM 161 grain harvester, and that is paired with the PowerStream 500 header trailer, or header for grain, sorry. We have the HKD 302. We have a pair of those. We also have a TKD 302 trailer. We have the Manitou MC18-4 forklift. We have the Lizard 1978 pickup truck. We have a pair of HW80 trailers. We have a 12-row corn header with a POH5 plow. We have a pair of 3-meter cultivators, a 4X map with a pair of 3-meter cultivators. We have the Coomer L300 and the Qualdisc Farmer 3000. We have the 3-meter subsoiler. We have the Vanderstand Spirit R300S seeder. We have the Cooverland Optima 5 planter. We have the Breedall K105 lime and fertilizer spreader. We have the Joskins slurry applicator. We have the Kuhn side mower. We have the Vicon Fanex 604 tedder. We have the Kuhn GA 9531 windrower. We have the Zelon CFS 2501 forage wagon. We have the FC30 front loader arms, bucket, manure fork, and pallet fork. We have a pair of weights, and then we move into our placeables. Now, again, this is being recorded out of order. So the animal areas are not part of the map at the start. We placed them for the purpose of this video. This section is being recorded after the fact. So we have included the bunker, pair of bunker silos here at the main farm. We've got our really cool grain silo. We've got a bevy of farm buildings, and then our farmhouse. Now let's talk about other mods that are included with this map. So since this map is MaizePlus ready, we do have mower conditioners built into the map. We have the Big M 450 mower conditioner, and then the standard base game mower. What does the mower conditioner do? As the description said, you have to typically ted grasses multiple times for them to convert to hay. The mower conditioner basically outputs a product that is pre-tedded to some degree, so you have to ted it less than if you did with the regular mower. So we have the self-propelled mower here as a mower conditioner. We also have 3 of the base game mowers as mower conditioners, the Discspine, Novacat, and Novacat X8 right there. Under baling technology, we also have round balers, wrappers that are set up to work with Alfalfa and Cloverr included with the map, as well as a bale trailer that is set up to work with those wrapped bales. Over here under potato technology, we do have pull behind harvesters set up for carrots and onions, as well as carrot and onion toppers. There are no self-propelled carrot and onion harvesters. If you want to use one of those, I would suggest downloading the Homer pack over at Nexus Mods. We also have the CCM mill, which is part of the MaizePlus add-on under miscellaneous. Now, as I said, there are no animals included with this map at the start. There are no custom animal areas. If you're going to want to play with animals, you're either going to be putting down the in-game animal pens or bringing your own animals in with modded animal pens. Other than the mods that we have activated as a result of being listed as required mods, there are no other custom mods available built into the map. And there you go. Let's go ahead and tour a little bit of the main farm here. So we have our farmhouse, and if we walk up to that, you're going to see we have our sleep trigger. Here we've got an old shed with our front loaders, our front loader implements. This is our farm silo, so you will need a trailer that has side dump capability, because this silo, you need to dump your product here on the side. And then the fill pipe is going to be right there. Now, this is a really cool mod. We're not going to take a lot of time and go on the inside here, but I do want to show off a couple really cool things. We've got light switches everywhere, really cool details. Up the steps, I encourage you to go check it out. There is an office up there. We can also go up these windy steps and then go across the gangplank there to basically just go across there. In theory, inspect the inside of the various bins. We have our 2 large silage bunkers. Again, since this map does not have any animals built in or included, this really is just for making silage to then sell at the one of the various biogas plants scattered around. Got our starting tractors in that shed. More storage over there. Big empty shed there. Lots of storage for lots of farm machinery because, well, with as many fields as this map has, you're going to need a lot of machinery if you're going to try to farm a lot of this map. That. And then our last building is kind of stashed here in the back. That's where our harvester is going to be found. And that, guys, is pretty much the main starting farm. So let's just go ahead and get set up for that fly around. We're going to take a look around the map and then settle down at the shop and do a bit of a drive around and see how many sell points we can basically take a look at. Let's get a little bit of altitude, and this map is far from flat. Sometimes you get maps like this that are mostly flat, but this one has some nice rolling terrain, specifically over at the edges of the map. Let's just go ahead and kind of spin around here, take a look. Again, remember, we're going to be flying at 8x speed, so it's not going to seem super fast at this level, but trust me, we are motoring around about as fast as we possibly could. This is and would be an absolute ideal map for multiplayer. So here is one of the many biogas plants. In fact, this one has 2 digesters set up for it. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 bunkers associated with that biogas plant itself. Oh, look, right here we have another biogas plant. Got a pair of bunkers over there by itself. And this one has what looks like 6 bunkers set up for it. We're coming up to 2 different possible farm areas. To the left and right, we have areas marked as Hoff on the farm. So we've got that area there and this area over here. Like I said, they are basically just flat grass areas that if you don't buy them and develop them as farms, you definitely buy them and just use them as nice, flat, big meadows. So what we're going to do is we're going to buy this particular area, and we're going to put down the animal pens because I do want to demonstrate the different food requirements on this map. Go ahead and put down a chicken coop, cow pasture, horses, pigs, and sheep. Now, if we look at our animal requirements, when I prepped this, I used Seasons, and of course, Seasons showed me everything without having to buy animals. So, give me one brief moment. Now that we have our animals, you can see that we have wheat, sugar beets, carrots, soybeans, corn, and barley for our chickens. And these are now parallel feeders. So the game is set up with different animals are either cereal or parallel eaters. A cereal eater only eats one food type at a time. So examples of cereal eaters are sheep, because there's only one food type we can give them in base game, cows, and chicken. Parallel food eaters are horses and pigs in the base game. And what parallel food eating means is that they eat all of the food sources at the same time. Okay, so parallel is they need all the food sources to be at most effectiveness. Cereal is they only will eat one particular type of food at any one point in time, and they will always eat the best or the most effective food source available to them. So all of the animals with MaizePlus are going to be parallel feeders. Okay, so our chickens have 50% effectiveness with wheat and 50% effectiveness with sugar beets and carrots. So we could feed them just wheat and carrots, and they're at 100%. We could feed them soybeans, corn, and barley and wheat, and they'll be at 90% because soybeans, corn, and barley are 40% effective. Sheep require grass silage, clover silage, 25% effectiveness, hay, alfalfa hay, and clover hay, another 25% effectiveness, fresh grass, clover, fresh maize, and hay pellets, 25% effectiveness, or sugar beets and carrots, an additional 25% effectiveness. Now, this video is not going to go into what fresh grass is versus clover versus fresh maize versus corn versus other maize. That is for someone else to explain MaizePlus. This video is not going to attempt to do any of that. Just telling you what is going to be required if you play this map with or without MaizePlus. Animal food requirements will be different. So with cows, we've got maize silage, grass silage, and WCS fermented, which as best I can tell is just good old normal silage from the game. 25% effectiveness. Then we have hay, clover hay, alfalfa hay, and pellet hay. 25% effectiveness. Clover silage and alfalfa silage. 25% effectiveness. And fresh grass, clover, or fresh maize. Again, 25% effectiveness. Pigs, we're talking fresh grass, clover, fresh maize, and clover silage, 18% effectiveness. Corn, wheat, barley, or CCM, 35% effectiveness. Soybeans, corn, and sunflowers, 30%. And potatoes, sugar beets, and carrots, 17%. Then we move on to horses. We have oats, 15%. Fresh grass, horse silage, or hay pellets, 35%. Hay, alfalfa hay, or horse hay, 40%. And carrots for the final remaining 10%. There are also multiple animal dealers on the map. We've got one right down here. There's going to be another one here around the corner. Here we have a small biogas plant with just 2 silage bunkers. So we're up to 3. We have another animal dealer right below us here. Another available farm spot. Multitude of sell points all over the place. As we kind of traverse across the top of the map here, let's just kind of rotate our view and look south. So we have our shop directly in front of us. Another farm area directly in front of us right there. Another large biogas plant, so now we're up to 4. according to the description, there are 8. On the other side of that little pond there, we have another flat, placeable area for a farm. Up here on the hill rise, we have another flat farm placeable area. Remember, we're moving at 8 times speed. You might feel like we're going slow, but let's drop to the ground and you'll see. We are booking it pretty good. We have a massive, massive biogas plant up here. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 bunkers as best I can tell. Again, with 2 more digesters. Now we can look across the map from west to east. As we move south, there's a few farms down here in the south westerly corner of the map. The description did say we have custom soil textures and crop textures. Let's take a look at some of those. We've got our custom grass texture here on this nice hillside meadow. Here we have a nice custom round texture for planted potatoes. Overall, I think this map is very well done. I like a lot of the small towns and little small areas scattered around. You don't get a sense that there's a whole lot of area on the map that was just left to bare. You know, areas that are kind of barren are grass covered and are easily explained away as meadows. I like that we've got here possible farm areas. We've got one right there. We've got a larger one right over there. They've got entrances to the roads. They've got grass in them. So if you don't want to build them out as farms, well, they can just be kind of explained away as large open plots of land that just have not been developed and are available for either purchase to develop or to just get the grass off of them. Here we've got another big biogas plant. Three smaller farm areas right here. Let's circle back. Forgot. We've got that one area that wasn't marked as Hoff, but I think it pretty much had the same treatment as all of these others. I think it was honestly just missed as marking it as Hoff on the PDA. If you're into production, all of these hops you could buy and put down factories. Put down whatever you want. Yeah, this should have been marked as a Hoff. It just wasn't. But look how the land just falls away. Wonderful different elevation terrains. Treatment of the forests. Really nice. And I have to say, great job on the map author for putting in all of these fields. It is so easy for people working on 4X maps to kind of chintz out on fields and just start making big fields. Like instead of having one giant field, we've got 3 fields right here. This could easily have been one giant field, but the map author split it up into 3 manageable fields, in my opinion, which make this map achievable to be played in single player. There's no way you're going to farm every single field, but all of the fields are somewhat manageable from the standpoint of size. So you could play this in single player, focus on just one little area of the farm of the map, and then have that realistic feel of driving such a long distance. It's a true commitment to sell your crops. If you play with an advanced clock that's moving at, let's say, 10x speed, it could take you a half of a day to drive your grain from your farm to the sell point, deliver it, and drive back, which is not unreasonable. So, trying to head back over here to the shop. That's where we're going to buy our Mahindra, and we're going to attempt to hit as many of these sell points as possible. This is going to be a long map video, so we're going to attempt to cover it in as best detail as we can. There will be plenty of folks that will give you a 5 or 10 minute video on this where we just kind of fly around and show you the highlights, but really don't give you a true sense of the map. But that's what we're going to try to do here. We've got a very large area for our equipment to spawn in at, that's for sure. We have our maintenance, customize, and repair trigger. There's a trigger marker right there. One thing I want to look at is what do the roads look like with respect to driving large equipment to and from the shop and the various farm areas. We obviously have a very large area here for equipment to spawn in at. A modest entrance here to get in and out of the shop. But I would say the roads, while the poles are set back a bit, you might be a little hard-pressed to bring the super big stuff through. I mean, I don't know anybody that... there are very few maps that you can bring this massive beast down the road and not run into problems, right? But other things, you know, like this should be okay, unless we get to some tight, sharp turns. Other big equipment is just long. You know, your seed hawk might be a little bit of a struggle. But I think other than traffic, the poles are set back far enough to work with that. Got a decent entrance here to this possible farmland area. Poles do have collisions. Okay. But these wooden stakes here, do not. That's good to see. Signage in single player is collision free. Now, signage in multiplayer is collision free anyway, so you don't need to worry about that. All right, so the bulk of our sell points are over here to our right, toward the east of the map. So let's head that way, and then we'll make our way down the south, and then make our way across the southwestern edge of the map, and again, try to fill in all of these sell points as best we can. I think if we skimp out on anything, we're just not going to go out of our way to try to hit one or two sell points that are kind of off on their own. I don't think I'm going to call out every single sell point in what it does, because quite frankly, the bulk of these sell points will be taking the bulk of our grain crops. There will be exceptions, but we're not going to go to that level of detail of stopping and seeing and verifying exactly what every single cell point is going to take. But I do want to drive over them just to check the entrance and exits out. And when you've got big fields like this, you're going to be bringing hopefully big trailers in and out of these cell points. I'm going to make sure you've got a pretty decent way to get in and out of these areas. This looks to be a 5 point of something. So we have, so KSD. So we've got around the map several areas with KSD marked. This lets you buy wheat, barley, oats, canola, sunflower, soybeans, corn, seed, fresh silage, fermented silage, CCM, spelt, fertilizer, lime, straw pellets, triticale, rye, pig food, hay pellets, and back to wheat. Okay. So that does answer a little bit what all of these KSDs are. So we've got a KSD right there. We've got a KSD over here. Okay. And we've got another KSD right here. I'm going to hit a couple of them and just see if they all have the same available. There, we've got a KSD there. Remember, we put all of these down ourselves. We have a KSD hidden over here. We have a KSD there. Got one down here. Over there. Seems like most of these little areas have their own KSD. Got another one right there. A lot of them seem to be tied to mills or other sell points. So it's interesting. You could like bring one crop to the sell point and buy and pick up another crop and take it home with you, or commodity. So you could do a little bit of role play there. Maybe you could drop off wheat and then go around and pick up pig food, and just say to yourself that you were dropping off, you know, you were selling your wheat, and now you were basically buying the offshoot of your wheat back as pig food. KSD here is under this pipe. I'm not hitting it because I'm too short. Okay. Typically, you wouldn't have that issue unless you're coming through here with a really small trailer. So far, these entrances aren't super huge. You want to have some pretty good skill at coming in here with longer trailers to navigate the fences and other areas. I don't think we need to bother with the various biogas plants. There's just so many. And they're all pretty straightforward. They're all part of the Castor biogas plant pack. So in general, one is going to be very, very similar to all of the others. Something we might want to check is just to see if we buy one of these biogas plants do we now have the ability to sell the biogas plant stuff, or is it basically permanently embedded? It appears to be permanently embedded. So don't think you're going to be buying the biogas plant to then sell the stuff to get the land back. And with 8 biogas plants on the map, and Farm Sim has an 8 multiplayer farm limit, each player can have their own biogas plant. That's pretty crazy. So right here we have our trigger for our animal dealer. Right there. Again, you're going to be bringing your own animal mods into the map unless you're going to use standard base game stuff. Do a little first-person driving, get that first-person ground perspective. Said we weren't going to go through every biogas plant, but this one's kind of on the way. So this was one of the smaller ones. There we have Vertex Designs building pack. If you don't add that mod, then you're just not going to see these buildings, right? I mean, that's the heart of it. If you don't add a placeable, you're just not going to see that particular building where it is being shown here in this video. So if you don't want those buildings, just don't add them, right? So we've got our digester, we've got our digestate, we have our bunkers. In this level, we might be able to see some more of those crop textures, ground textures. Also, there we have it's like a custom seeded texture. Yep. I would say I would check to see if the windmill there has collisions, but the fact that there's trees there, they are most assuredly probably going to have collisions, so it really doesn't matter if the big windmill doesn't. It stops us for sure. That's something to consider for hired helpers. Really well done, in my opinion. The little neighborhoods, the residential areas. Here we have another one of the animal dealers. Have a sell point for our bales, maybe. This may be the only bale sell point on the map with yeah, Balin, yeah, that place. Balin. So Balin is the only place that's going to take our hay, silage, straw, and grass if we don't own a biogas plant. Okay, so here's that biogas plant that we bought. There's that. Just for funsies, let's go ahead and buy all the farmland. And now take a look here. So here are all the biogas plants. We have BGA 3A, 7A, 8A, and then we have various biogas plants listed here by name. All is going to take silage, grass, hay, straw, manure, slurry, silage alfalfa, clover alfalfa, carrots, horse silage, fresh maize, silage maize, grass silage, as well as sugar beets, potatoes, and there you go. So I think this is an interesting design choice for this map to include MaizePlus, but to not have any animal areas. Typically, when I think about MaizePlus, I think about all of the changes it makes with respect to animal feeding, and that all of those additional crop types and various grasses and such are really there and designed for changing up the animals. But on this map, there are no animals pre-built. You've got to put down your own animal areas. So I could see this map being played solely as agricultural, without any animals. So solely a now the name escapes me. What you call a map that, or what you call farming with no animals, right? So you could have a complete farm, play it on a multiplayer server. Nobody could have animals, and you could play it as if it wasn't any MaizePlus in the map if you didn't want to. Okay, I think I turned in the wrong spot here. Oh, here we go. This is going to be likely one of our sell points for eggs and milk. I thought that was going to tell us what it took, but it was just a don't park here sign. So here we have another one of those KSDs. Wheat, barley, oat, canola, sunflower, soybeans, corn, seed, WCS fresh, WCS fermented, CCM, spelt, fertilizer, lime, straw pellets, triticale, rye, pig food, hay pellets, and packed wheat. So far, that's the same assortment of commodities that the other one had, but the other one was also the same model. Oh, there we go. Well, I'm glad we found one problem. We got a tree growing inside of a silo. So we don't really know. There may be other commodities at the other KSDs that I just can't reach because the trigger doesn't come down far enough for my small Mahindra. And then we have a big gas plant right over there. Another biogas plant to our left. I mean, you can see we're running at 60 miles an hour. Basically, we've traversed almost one standard map size worth of area here. We've got reverse in station there. So the main farm is over to our right, up on the hill, just past that tree line. We're going to go ahead and continue on around this road for a little bit. Again, really nice elevation changes on the map. My attempt to do modest landscaping really makes me appreciate rolling fields and rolling hills and rolling terrain in general, and having it look good, blend well. Where are we at? All right, so we own it. Okay. It looks like it's an old cow building that's just been abandoned. Has some old junk cars put in here. Really interesting. So there aren't any working animal areas, but there's some old junked up ones. Have an abandoned farm. An abandoned pig building. Really cool details. Really like this. Can we go in there? That's neat. To say, if you've never played a 4X map, maybe the field sizes have scared you off. Maybe you don't like 4X maps because you feel that they are not they're not as decorative. They just don't feel right because maybe they're so spread out. There's not a lot of details to the map. I have to say, maybe download this and give it a try. As you've seen so far, this map is chock full of details, lots of sell points, lots of driving around. You know, if you don't like to drive around, then maybe you fire up mods like Horseplay or Auto Drive, which seems to be fairly popular nowadays. We have another reverse in sell point here. I like how the sell points have a lot of variety to them. They're not all the same building or the same 3 or 4 buildings that have been just slapped around different parts of the map. You know, it shows that the map author has really taken some time to build out unique towns and unique areas. We've already been through, this is our 3rd, and I really don't have the sense that deja vu. I've been here before. Here we have our logging sell point. Possibly one of our logging sell points. And that is kind of affronted by a forested area. As we saw in the flyover, forested areas seem to have this nice kind of trail network, road network through them. So we're not super dense forest, but we do have really great details with undergrowth and shrubbery and grass. So sometimes you see a map that has really dense forest. Trees are all in a line. We don't have that here. We get a sense that this is potentially, could be, a natural occurring area. Fuel station. I haven't seen any fuel stations marked on the map, but we do see a fuel station there. I do have a fuel trigger there, so that's good. Or what I am projecting to be a fuel trigger. We have another animal dealer to our left. Now, I don't know if maybe each dealer is set up to only do a particular animal. We'd have to come up here with an animal trailer and try. I would hope that they would be set up all to do all the animals, as opposed to have to drive across the map just to get pigs. We have 2 sell points right here. I wonder if I was going to ask. I was saying, I wonder if this is our spinnery because we don't have a dump station. And it is indeed our spinnery. So this is the sole location on the map for cotton and wool sales. Thank you, traffic. If you're playing the Will He Crash game, there you go. Now you know your answer. Got a couple sell points look like set up here. One there, possibly one around back. It's another KSD. Wait. Yeah, it's all the same mix. Okay. So we've looked at 3 KSD so far. They've all had the same commodities. So I'm going to call it. All the KSDs are going to offer you the same products. Is it a deal to buy them there? I don't know. You're going to have to find that out yourself. Take a left turn here and try to make our way across the river. So far, the roads, I would say, would probably work for the vast majority of big equipment. I haven't really noticed a lot of the stuff alongside the road being super narrow. We've seen where there are kind of in town where we have light poles, like here on the bridge. They are way off the side. Usually there is a sidewalk between the road and those poles. Oh, nice. Really, I've said it before, really nice. I like this. I like this map. I think this is a really great map. Can definitely keep folks busy with respect to multiplayer. Map size isn't terrible bad. It is listed at 530 megabytes. So a lot of your dedicated multiplayer servers are going to be limited to 4 megabyte mod storage. So with that, you've got some storage for the biogas plant. So with that, you've got about 3.5 gigs of storage for additional mods over and above the map. So I think that's more than reasonable. If you load up all of the required mods, let me look real quick. If we load up all of the required mods and say that is our starting point, where are we at? So all of our required mods are 854 megs. So that gives us 3.2 gigs of space left for other things. Again, that's not too terrible bad. Trying to minimize the amount of distance I need to double back on. We've just got a few more cell points I want to hit here across the bottom of the map and up the western edge. By now, I think everybody has made their decision. Are you going to play this map? You've probably already stopped the video, you've already downloaded it, and you're already on it. One dump station. Here we got another one. This little town. Not a lot going on here, just a couple businesses. Yeah, if you're wanting to play a big map and you just want to have the long drives, but you don't want to have the big fields, well, set yourself up here. You know, the building areas up here are not that big. So you could buy one, you could buy all of them, and carve them up into fields if you're not going to put farm down. And the fields up here on this southwestern edge of the map are pretty small. So there'd be easily something that you could deal with even modest size equipment. Traffic isn't super heavy. We've run across some cars. Haven't been super bad. We've got another biogas plant. It's almost like every town has their own biogas plant. Road. The next intersection to our right, it's like maybe we can drive down the hill. Might have missed that opportunity. That's okay. Fuel depot, sell point, and KSD. I would say this building here is probably the most used building of the sell points, but each area does have its own kind of unique feel to it, over and above any of the other areas. And I think, guys, that's where we're going to call it. We're going to call it here. So this is Niedersachsen, okay, Lower Saxony, or Lower Saxony. This map you found over farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game mod hub. This is a 4X map, so it is and for always and will ever be for PC only. There are over 16 possible farm areas for you to develop and build out, just like the one right in front of us. Over 8 biogas plants. Unknown, absolutely unknown number of sell points. I didn't even bother counting them. So let me know in the comments, what do you think of this map? And until next time, happy farming.